Have you heard people say that you can't take certain types of immigration actions within 30 days or within 60 days, or that you really should wait 3 months until you file something? There tends to be a ton of information floating around the internet about these supposed deadlines, and about something that's sometimes called the 30, 60, 90-day rule. So today we're going to talk about what is this purported rule? What is actually happening here? And how does this actually impact cases? Because although it's a very common question, I see that it's one of the most misunderstood concepts in immigration law. So, to start with, there is actually, in most cases, there is no rule about a certain amount of time that you must wait between having one type of status and then changing to another type of status. However, there is an important part of the law that is called intent, immigrant and non-immigrant intent. So the law does actually say, you know, there are certain types of visas where if it's for a set purpose, like maybe you're just coming to study, or you're just coming to go to Disney World or on vacation, or you're just coming to work a certain type of temporary job and then you're going to leave, the law says that if you are going to use one of these methods to come, and the visa is what's called a non-immigrant visa, then you are not allowed to have the intention to come to the US and actually do something else. So you can't, in your mind, the law says, okay, in your mind, you can't say, yeah, I've got this tourist visa here and I'm going to say I'm going to Disney World. And maybe I am going to go to Disney World, but also the week after I go to Disney World, I'm going to get married and then apply for a green card and stay in the US for the rest of my life. That's my actual intention. So the law doesn't allow that, because at the time you entered with that intention, then uh, you actually had a different intention, and you should have had a different type of visa that matches your intention. So when people hear that, a lot of times they say, well, how is the government going to know what I'm thinking, right? Like, I know that they're stalking us on social media and stuff like that, but like, how do they know what we're actually thinking, right? And so, of course, they can't actually know what your intention was at the time. So they have to do something else, and they have to pay attention to sort of more circumstantial evidence. So they can't look into your heart and know what you're actually thinking, but they can look at your actions and your general situation, and they can guess maybe what your actual intention was. So a lot of these questions about how much time do you have to wait until you file something have to do with a previous guideline that existed in some government manuals for employees who had to decide, when they were assessing people for visas, they'd have to say, was this person, did they have the right intention? Did they use all their previous visas appropriately? And what this guideline said, it wasn't part of the binding law. It said, if someone takes some sort of outside action within 30 days that seems to be completely contradicting, what they said their intent was, you can kind of assume that they were probably lying about their intent when they came into the US. And if someone is, maybe within 60 days, they take some sort of action, I don't know, it could go either way. But if it's been like longer than 90 days, we pretty much assume that life could have happened to change their intent, and we could more easily assume that they were telling the truth. So that used to be sort of the published guideline that they would follow, and that is where a lot of those deadlines, or those like wait until this date to file advice comes from. But the thing is, first of all, they threw that guideline out and they explicitly said, hey, that's not the law. It doesn't protect you. Really, the law is intent, right? So that's what we're going to focus on. And the important thing to understand here is that, so the way I see this play out in a lot of cases is people will come to me and they'll say, oh my goodness, I came in on this, whatever visa type. Like, let's keep using the tourist visa example. So I came in on this tourist visa, and then something totally unexpected happened, and I was really just here for a vacation, but then this other thing happened. And so now I need to do something different. And they'll be very worried about the time frame. But it's from context, you can tell that actually it makes sense. So let me give you an example. COVID. So during COVID, I had a lot of clients. Some of them had other case types pending, like maybe they were going to consular process a green card at a US embassy, but they happened to be in the United States temporarily visiting their fiance or their spouse rather, or they were here on vacation or something. They were here just visiting temporarily when the world shut down because of COVID. And they said, oh my goodness, I just got here last week. I didn't think this thing was going to spread to the United States. And now my home, wherever I'm from, my home country is shut down. I'm afraid to go back, or I have health problems, so I actually shouldn't be traveling during this. I need to quarantine inside my house. What can I do? And so there were a lot of cases where we, if they had a qualifying family member, we would apply for green cards. And people would say, but it hasn't been 90 days. But it's like the rule is not 90 days. The rule is what was your intention at the time you came? And then did you lie to the government and use a visa that you shouldn't have used in a way that you shouldn't have used it, or not? And so when your circumstances change drastically, like COVID, or sometimes it's a personal thing, like you realize you're pregnant, or you have some kind of other health issue, or something unexpected happens, that can really change your circumstances in a way that your intention may have been one thing and it may change afterwards. So that's why it's super important when we're assessing immigration strategy, when we're figuring out how to get people safely through the immigration system, that we're looking at the actual law and we're not looking at guidelines or rumors or what people say, because it really varies quite a bit in each individual circumstance as far as what is an appropriate time to switch and not to switch, or to file something or not to file something. But hopefully this helps to clarify for you a little bit where some of these stories are coming from, where some of the advice is coming from, and to better figure out how that may or may not apply in your specific case. And of course, if you want a specific consultation, we are always happy to assess your situation for you.